Have you really looked at your social media feed? Have you ever looked at TV and the news and wondered what has happened to America? How did we get so wrong? What did we do so wrong? And how do we get back there?
About to leave, already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking.
Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Today's video is going to be a little different, not something that we typically would have here on our channel, as our goal is to be sustainable and have a prepper style channel and homesteading and try to build a life around those things. But I kind of look at what we're going through in our world, and we talk current events sometimes on this channel. But to me, the current events that we're talking about and the realization of what we live through and how we live a sustainable life, it's really to try to get away from some of the craziness in our world. We've talked about that. And have a common sense approach on life and trying to see everything through the eyes of a conservative Christian family and us trying to raise our children in the best way possible. So let's jump into today's video. I really want it to be more heartfelt and just give me your opinion. It's not the typical video, but I hope you'll stick with me as we walk through just a situation to me that just broke my heart. So let's jump into it. We've seen a lot of moral decay in our world. I say that with the last few years, as we saw lockdowns, as we see a leader now that's embracing so much moral depravity. Also, as we saw the last administration, how a president would get up and just kind of be profane and have a lot of words that were just not the best vocabulary for your children to listen to and to look up to. So I'm saying this on both sides of the aisle. I feel like our conservatism and our views and our morals for America has just fallen. I really believe that. As we try to raise 6 kids in this world, we try to homeschool, we raise a farm, we try to eat healthy. You saw the last video us talking about how dangerous sometimes our food is. But I want to talk a little bit more about the moral decay. It's just being pushed on us. And even families like mine, we're really starting to see it more and more. Now I know my audience tends to be more middle-aged and older, so I'm really speaking to you as you have children or grandchildren. The media and the TV and the movies that we watch pretty much have indoctrination in them all the time. So we have, as a family, kind of pushed against not just watching movies all the time and TV all the time. So we tend to watch some of the older stuff from when I was a kid. Things from when my parents were kids, Scooby-Doo and things like that. But after a while it gets old. So we then turn to YouTube. YouTube's been a big part of our life. We've been watching YouTube for probably about 10 years now. Very faithful. It's almost been our only source of, TV. And again, that brings me to the point of us being on YouTube. We do this kind of as a job, and we've been on for about 3 or 4 years. And we've been blessed to be able to tell our life and talk about our life on YouTube. And we are so thankful that you watch us. But now, even YouTube and all the things that my children has watched has been really also starting to indoctrinate our children. And we've tried so hard to keep our kids away from the educational system in our society by homeschooling. We try to keep them in a Christ-centered church and a life that is around the nuclear family, wanting us to be the best father and mother that we can be and role model for our children. So we've watched a lot of YouTube, and even YouTube like Dude Perfect. I love Dude Perfect, and our kids love Dude Perfect, and they love turning it on. Well, they've got into a lot of other channels, and really for the last probably 5 years, we've been faithful MrBeast followers. And I think it's so amazing. I know he gets a lot of bad raps for all the things he does to give things away, but I think he's blessing people's life. So it shows he has a good heart, and all the people that is around him really want to see the world better. As much as he's grown, he's become a star, and that stardom is not a bad thing. We see a lot of times though with people that become, these mega celebrities and these influencers, they tend to kind of fall off the wayside. And us as people, we shouldn't be influencers, because to be honest with you, we're all fallen, we're all terrible role models. We just strive to be better. My kids love watching MrBeast, and he is always entertaining, even for me and my wife that are mid-30s. So we've watched him for a long time, and we've enjoyed him. And now one of his main buddies and friends who were just part of the guys is now going through this gender transformation. And to me, when I looked at this guy, and his name was Chris, when I looked at him, he had a family, he had a kid. He seemed like he just kind of was just this good old boy who enjoyed time with his friends, and then all of a sudden started growing up, and all of a sudden they've been blessed, royally blessed. They make tons of money. No telling what they actually make. But the stardom and all the benefits and all the things, it just shows that there's still some problems. And I think it's the moral decay of our world. And I hate that it has impacted this guy, because this guy and this channel has done such good things for so many people. You know, helping people be able to see out of their eyes, giving them surgery, helping people get to work, helping people with furniture, helping people eat, helping ministries, helping people, doing a lot of good with a lot of his funds. And I think that's so commendable for MrBeast. But now we see one of his best friends going through a major issue. And what's so crazy is just a few years ago, we would say this guy needs help. He needs treatment. He needs some kind of help. And spiritually, of course, but really, he needs to speak to someone who can walk him through this. He needs friends to step alongside him and help him. We would say the same thing about someone who is in drugs and someone who has a drinking problem. We would say the same thing. These people need help. We want to help them. And as a friend, we should step in and be that person to help them. Well, because of the moral depravity, because of our world and America especially, we've lost all sense of moral compass. And because of that, now we see people who, you know, my kids looked up to, now fallen. And not only fallen, really buying into this kind of mental illness that our world is facing right now. And the sad thing is people are embracing him. Now, this is not a ploy to make fun of this guy. This is not a ploy to dog their channel out. Their channel is huge and doing phenomenally well. But I think our situation and what we want for our family is we want to be better role models for our children. We don't want our kids exposed to that. That's why we try to be the best role models we can be. Now, for you, for the people who are watching who may not know MrBeast, that's okay. Are you being the best role model that you can be for your children? Are you being the father that you're supposed to be? Are you being the mother that you're supposed to be? Because now this family is going through something crazy, because now this kid who they say it's going to be great and the kid's happy to see their father, this is no father anymore. He don't even call himself a father. He calls himself a parent now. No matter what America teaches us, there's nothing better than a family being raised with a father, mother at home. And I know we come from broken homes. We come from all kind of crazy situations because of all the things we've personally went through in a lot of our stories. But what we need is to get back to some style of morals and values. I hope and pray more than anything that this guy gets help. I pray that MrBeast and some of those guys will come alongside this guy and say, look, man, and don't do it on camera. I mean, that's the bad thing. I think MrBeast is in a catch-22, because I believe he can't really come on camera and say that, you know, we're here to help you, because then it looks bad on him. I don't think they can, you know, take him off camera, because then that would look bad on him. I think he's in a spot where, you know, now what? Now what do you do? Well, you love him like a brother, and you kind of walk through this with him and try to say, look, man, we want to get you help. Now, to go back to us, we can learn something from all the craziness going on right now in our world. The men and women's sports, we see all these issues, and really what it comes down to more than anything is just the brokenness of our homes and the brokenness of our morals and values. Until we see a spiritual change, this depravity, this issues, the things that we're doing in our world right now, and the things that we're doing in America, I think this is going to cause a fall of America, who was once a city on a hill. Again, go back in time and look at history and see a lot of these major empires fell mostly because of morals and values. They became an immoral population, and that really went to their demise. That's what really caused a lot of their demise. I mean, think of the Roman Empire. The moral depravity is actually what caused the fall of the nations. And even though we see this one situation with MrBeast, because he's probably one of the biggest YouTubers of all time, one of the biggest celebrities on streaming networks, and really has probably done everything and made all the money that he wanted to make. Sadly, it shows that there's still some issues. And this guy has been dealing with something for a long time, and no one's caught it, and nobody wants to help him. This guy needs help. Chris needs help, man. I really hope that instead of people dogging him out, or instead of people embracing this and condoning or condemning, we go and we say, man, look, let me help you. And here's the thing. Me, again, I would look at it in a spiritual sense. This guy needs spiritual healing. This guy needs spiritual help. You can tell by that stream they did the other day. And again, we kind of just turned it off, because this is not for us. We don't, you know, we watch MrBeast and a lot of the streaming YouTube channels to get away from some of the politics and the craziness and the indoctrination in TV and education. But now all of a sudden, you know, we just kind of got to turn it off, because I don't want to see him dressed like a woman. you know, he's going through some things, and my kids ask questions about why he was growing his hair out. So my heart is, I hope this guy gets help. I hope what we're living in, the moral depravity in America, I really hope we can learn from, and we can get back on top of this and turn this ship around. It's going to take a brazen leader, and it's going to take a spiritual awakening, because if we don't change the path, then we're going to look like a modern day Rome, and we're going to literally fall to our demise, because America is losing its touch. We're losing our influence across the world anyways. But if we don't stop this charade and stop this circus, something that we 4 or 5 years ago would have condemned and thought it was absolutely crazy and we'd want this person to get help, now we just embrace it. We have one major party in America embracing this lifestyle. One day we're going to look back at this time in history. I said this in another video, but we're going to look back at this time in history and say, what did we do? What have we done? What could we have done better? We have to get back to a nuclear family. We have to get back to morals and values, and we have to get back to having role models that want to stand up for something better than ourselves. Whatever we're dealing with, if it be, you know, transitioning, or if it be drunkenness, if it be drugs, if it be worry, stress, any of that, all those things are bad, and we're all fallen, and we're all going to deal with something. I deal with things too, but we have to say, okay, it's not about me. Just because this is an issue I'm having doesn't make it really right. We need to find guidance. Hey, just take the spiritual part out of it. Let's talk common sense and biology. Come on, people. It's so sad to me. So I made this video, first of all, just to say, I hate the situation. I hate anytime someone is an influencer and someone who can impact kids and just have fun, let kids entertain, because they're always in school and stress of homework, and they could come home and watch a MrBeast video and see people win things. I think it's so cool to have that. I think it's so cool to see people like Dude Perfect that are shooting basketballs. It gets kids away from all the junk and the anxiety and the stress and the worry that we have to deal with. It gets us away from, you know, our work, or gets us away from the stress of social media, and kind of just lets us have fun and laugh and carry on, and about these guys joking around and playing around and giving people money. How cool is that? But now I just feel like it's more of the same, and I hate that. I'm hoping that this guy gets help, and more than that, I hope that his friends will come around him and love on him in a way that says, you know what, we want to be here for you and help you through whatever you're going through. Should have probably already happened, but I hope they'll do it now. Thank you for watching this video. I know it wasn't our typical video, but what I wanted you to see is, I just wanted to share my heart today. It actually broke my heart, because, you know, when you watch people, I mean, you watch me, we watch people, and you feel like you know them. You know, and I've met a lot of other YouTubers that influence people that influence me, and it's like I feel like I know them already. So when you watch someone all the time, or you watch these podcasts all the time, or you watch people, you know, being crazy on video, you feel like you build this relationship with it. And I know that's crazy, because we vicariously live through this streaming service called YouTube, and I think it's a wonderful thing. But it just kind of broke my heart to see, you know, this guy who seemed like had a good structure there with his wife and kid, them standing in front of their home, you know, as a family, and it just breaks my heart, man. It just really breaks my heart. And I told Misty, I thought it was kind of crazy that it affected me as bad as it did. But we see this in our world, and our world is affected. I mean, it's a hard world to live in. It's a stressful world to live in. It's full of anxiety. And man, I hope this guy gets help. And really, more than that, I hope that you can be the role model for your children and your grandchildren. They can see some stability. They can see a good role model when all the stress and craziness in the world they see, they can come home and see something like a nuclear family. They can see a mom and dad who loves them. They can see someone who supports them. And most of all, someone who just wants to love on them and teach them right and wrong, and hopefully give them a strong base to be a light in this society. That's what I really hope. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. If you're new to the Max, again, we talk a lot of homesteading, a lot of prepping, and a lot of food sustainability, and our goal is to always be good stewards with what God has given us. This video was just from my heart, and hopefully a little common sense talked into you and your family. God bless. Happy homestead, y'all.
Be free, be free.